Hey there. Welcome to another episode of Heart and Hustle, Visionary Healers, Movers, and Shakers. I am your host, Paulette Rees-Denis, here to bring you magic makers from around the globe, people who are creating change, who have small businesses, large businesses, hobbies, but they are creating the life of their dreams. And that, my friends, is what living is all about. So let us know how you like this episode. Please subscribe, and we'll see you there. Thanks for joining. All right, my friends, welcome to another episode of Heart and Hustle, Visionaries, Healers, and Shakers. I am Paulette Rees-Denis, and I am coming to you today from Ohio. Not my normal place of work, but I'm here and loving it and doing good this summer. And I get to invite this beautiful woman today. Wendy DeRosa is with us from Colorado. So she's a little closer to my home than I am. Wendy, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Paulette.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're here, and so glad we get to have this conversation, and also so glad that I get to introduce her to all of you, which you know is one of my passions as a hostess, is bringing you magic makers and movers and shakers and all the good stuff. All the good stuff. So Wendy has some beautiful gifts that she does with her life, creating her life the way that she desires it to be, using her passions. And I would love, Wendy, if you could just tell us a little bit about what's going on for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, well, first of all, I'm
So many things.
so many, where do I begin? So I'm an intuitive energy healer, but I mostly train healers. So I train people in developing their intuition, clearing their blocks, and that includes self, meaning working for themselves, or also working if they choose to become certified and working with others. That's a big history and something that I do in my business. I'm the founder of the School of Intuitive Studies, and I'm also starting to work with leaders and bringing intuition into leadership and business.
Yes. Bam. That's so good. And you've been doing this, well, I mean, obviously you've been in touch with this gift all your life. But how long have you been in this mode of your business?
Yeah, I've been in practice for 30 years as an intuitive healer, and then teaching for about 20, and then really training and running the school for the past 15 years. So yeah,
It's a
long
good long
time.
road. It's a good
I
long
feel like
road.
I've seen it all. But then I don't.
I know what you mean.
Then I don't. Then things change, and
Uh,
yeah.
well, I love, and I think we've all been born with this ability, but why do you think that so many of us lose that ability to connect with our inner guidance?
Well, I think, a lot of times, everyone is born with some aspect of intuition. We see, we hear, we feel, we know, different ways intuition works in the body. There's a process that's part of the human condition where we forget and to be on the journey to remember
Mhm.
our gifts. And so sometimes I think people, what happens is we're raised in times and in societies and structures that don't necessarily nurture our intuitive sensitivities and gifts from a very early age. And so to basically comply and exist and survive in the environments we're raised in, we have to, in some ways, shut it down in order to be received
Oh,
by the world around us until, and this is young, until we get to a point where that doesn't work anymore. And, our issues, our wounds surface, and then we end up having to follow the journey to reopening the gift back up. I don't know if that's what you're asking.
yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
it's so fascinating to me that our society wants us to shut it down.
Yeah, I don't know if I think it's kind of more in I don't know that it's a want to. I think it's in the patriarchal structure
Mm,
that the
okay.
feminine in this way is suppressed to a level where, you know, it's not nurtured initially. And we're talking, I think nowadays, like I have a child now, 9-year-old, and it's a lot different than when, I grew up or generations before me grew up. There was a lot more expectation on I'll say the feminine, which is intuition and creativity and sexuality and, all aspects of sensitivity, vulnerability. That was very closeted and oppressed for centuries
Yeah,
for,
yeah.
for people. And now here we are, intuition's part of that, and so I think it's conditioning as opposed to a forced expectation.
And so how do you work with people? How do you help them get back in touch with that aspect of themselves?
Yeah, so it's a big process. I my work centers on the chakra system and the
Mm,
idea that the central channel in our body is the pathway for alignment and for our soul communicating through the whole energetic systems, the whole
mm,
functions of the body. So intuition, some people are lower body intuitives, so they're the empaths or they're the deep feelers, and some people are upper body intuitives, so they're more the mystics or the psychics or the
mm,
mediums.
mm.
And
Never
so
heard it described that way before.
yeah, so lower body intuition is people who feel horizontally in the world. They feel the energy of others, they take it in through the physical. And upper body intuitives take it in through the spiritual, or at least these upper chakras are what are more developed and allow that access to the spiritual.
But
So
do you think someone can have both of those?
yeah, people can have a mix, people can have all four, people can have, a combination that are more dominant. It has to do with the amount of prana that's moving through particular chakras.
Hmm.
So some people can come into this world very dominant in their throat chakra and they are authentically a speaker, a leader, a teacher,
Mm, mhm.
a musician, or their craft is communication. They also might be clairaudient, so they hear things. At the same time, they could be empathic. They feel through their lower body. They feel the subtle. They feel things that people aren't naming that they feel,
Oh, interesting.
they feel the things that people are not feeling. Yeah.
Because I feel like when I used to be I used to work more with massage as a therapist and would always feel so much through my hands,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. But now I feel more connected with what comes through me spirit wise.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I think I have a little bit of all of it.
I think probably, yeah, you probably and what'll happen is they will develop over time. When we get the amount of information or the experience that we need, eventually we evolve up the chakra
Mm,
system.
mm,
So it
mm.
makes sense that the upper chakras would then open
Wow,
up more. Mhm.
fantastic,
For those
fantastic.
gifts. Yeah.
So diving into how you have developed your business, what's been the hustle? What's been hard?
Yeah, the struggle I've had within my business is as the times at which haven't listened to my intuition.
Yeah.
And more so, the times in which my oversensitivity got the best of me in terms of being um losing my center, losing my power and giving others more, I would say, power over my business. What I'm here, let me be clear about it. When I have looked to others as if they know more about my business than I do.
Mm, mhm, mhm.
And that is because I gave my power away. It's because I've said I don't really know how to run this business. I don't know what I'm doing. And when I've hit overwhelm or a place of so much intake from the world, or the business is actually growing and I don't know what to do with that.
Mhm.
And I've hit a level of shock inside myself, and I haven't been able to manage that growth or that experience. And then realizing, oh, I need help from a desperate place, not from a place of
Yes.
feeling in control and empowered. Then I've lost my center and given my power away. And then my business is out of control. That has been a pain point.
Ooh. Hopefully that hasn't happened that often.
No, it's happened once for a very long time.
Okay. I understand.
I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah.
I think it's really important to know that there are others who can help you,
Yes.
but from the point of empowerment, of
Yeah.
connection, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had multiple coaches and multiple workshops and whatever in doing the work that I do that I could never do if I hadn't asked for help. And I think that's part of the problem, is that sometimes we're so afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
But it has to come
Absolutely.
from that place, right?
Yeah, that's the key. I have a lot of people that help in teams and developing the right team and all of that, but so you need the help. But the pain point for me was, here I am, an intuitive healer, an intuitive teacher that requires, like, here I am preaching the work, right?
Right?
Saying, this is how we find our, this is the work we do. And here I am in this incredible, struggle. But it was my growth at the time to shift from the healer to the leader, and
Mm,
learning how to make that progression within myself as healer from private practice, healer in small business, to healer who's moving into a leadership role and having to lead now from a team. And there was like a spiral on my way to that transformation inside myself. And I wasn't ready for it. And I didn't know it was happening at the time. I could say it now looking back,
right?
but at the time, oh, it was quite
Ah.
yeah.
So, okay, so what's been the heart
The heart of the business of my
of
business and
doing what you're doing?
yeah. So the heart is seeing people connect more deeply to themselves, have their aha moments, have their recognition of their own light, and being able to live that in the world. The heart is that we need more of that,
Mhm.
more people who are aligned in who they are and why they're here, in their gifts and in their intuition, and in their more connected to their soul. And so seeing that is the outcome of it. And if I can help contribute, to drops in the bucket, that my only hope is that the sea changes, in the long run. And I know got a long way to go here, but that's the goal, is to see that level of awakening and transformation for people, and
Mm,
that we're helping the planet in the in the not in the long
right.
term, but as
Well, it's like
the takeaway.
one step at a time, one person at a time, one group at a time, one tribe at a time, one Ah,
Yeah. Yeah.
wow. So now, uh, what are some of the high points that you've hit along the way?
So some high points are, there's been many. I mean, some of the high points, for one, is I was, been blessed enough to be able to teach on with the Shift Network, which is a um, very, well-known platform for lots of different, uh, you know, teachings and personal growth and wellness.
Awesome.
And so,
Congratulations on that.
yeah, so I taught for them. I've been teaching them for them for a while now. And that was a big shift into a global arena for me, when it first happened. Um, and that was profound. And I got to connect with so many students through the Shift Network, and they themselves are wonderful people who run it. So it's just been overall an incredible blessing. And then being able to support, I run a training program in developing intuition, and the highs every year are seeing the students graduate and go through, just have an incredible, um, they've actualized the work, the embodiment of their gifts, of their light, of their intuition. It's a very incredible process to watch them and to see their experiences on the other side. It's also been a high to work with founders of companies who you never think they'd be seeking out intuitives to work with and intuitive healers, but they're founders running, they're in high stakes situations all the time. They're running big companies, they're running teams, and them working with them to support them in clearing their energy and becoming more centered and aligned, allows them to make more grounded and ethical
Wow,
decisions.
that's huge. That's
That's
huge.
been such a blessing to be able to do that. I've also, just seeing, I've written several books, so seeing
That's
those
what I was going to ask
out
you. Do you have
there.
any right
Yeah.
there? Do you have any you can hold up?
I not in my hand. I should get up and get one.
Go ahead, go get one. Go get one.
Yeah, okay,
It's all right.
So one of my books, it might show up backwards on screen, but it's called Becoming an Empowered Empath.
Oh yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah. So this one's been life-changing for people. And I continue to get feedback about that, how much the lens at which to look at empaths over absorption from the lower chakras specifically, and what happens when we're not fully occupying that space and we're losing our power in the first three chakras, and how that creates energetic overwhelm and absorption, unconscious absorption, based on how we learned to be in relationship with people from 0 to 7 years old. So it's very powerful perspective in how to understand why we're absorbing energy from that subconscious state. This one's been published in several languages. So that's been kind of
very nice.
And I'm working on my next book right now for, I don't have enough to announce the title just yet.
Okay, that's all right.
But it's a leadership. It's working with intuition.
And do you like that whole writing process?
Yeah, I do. I wish I had more time to write a book a year. I love to do it, but I don't have that time. So I do like it.
Sweet. Well, I'm working on my 5th book, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It takes time.
It does take time.
And I mean, the last book I wrote it really fast. I wrote it in 9 weeks.
Oh, wow. That's
But it was through a writing coach, and
Yeah.
it was like a super focused, super intense process.
Yeah.
My other books took much longer than that. And now I'm working on my new one, which it's all written, and now it's just a matter of laying it out and doing that whole process. But it's another poetry book. So
Oh, great.
yeah.
So great.
Yeah. So okay, so now, because I always love to talk about self-care. It's so important for us to take really good care of ourselves. And so many women that I talk with as clients and friends and acquaintances, they don't.
Yeah.
Still. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's such a big part of my world and my talk and my teachings. But what do you do for yourself? Like daily,
Yeah.
weekly, monthly?
Yeah. So for my self-care, the first, for me, it's first about connecting to myself. So my practice is that I tune in and I check in with myself in first thing in the morning, more like a body scan, tuning in. But I also have a grounding practice that I always begin my day with. And so that is that's my first, sometimes even before I put my feet on the ground, I'm visualizing my grounding cord. If I'm even laying in bed or I'll sit up and meditate, I'm envisioning my grounding cord into the earth and just allowing myself to be connected in here. And that's my I have to do that for myself because so much of my day is, and especially on Zoom, I have to be up and forward and communicating,
Right, right.
that I need my daily reminders to come down in my body and ground myself. So that's a that's a constant first thing in the morning and throughout my day. And then just advancing to the end of the day, I do a clearing where I send energy back and call mine back. And that's like I just do a little cleansing
Right, I'm
meditation
sure.
at
I
the
mean,
end of the
that's really
day.
important, for, especially doing that intense work that you do with other people.
Yeah, yeah. So those are my bookends of the day. And then my self-care also includes what I put in my body, meaning, food and how I'm taking care of my nutrition through the day. It's how I'm moving my body, whether
Hmm.
it's stretching, whether it's walking, whether it's yoga or exercise of some sort. It's how I'm taking care of my physical body throughout my day or, in my day. I have a small school age child, so I do what I can. So I don't, this isn't like I can do what I can throughout the day. So that's, it's getting her ready. It's making sure our home life is, you
Good.
know,
Beautiful.
we've balanced. Um, and then I do my own body, I get my body work when I can, whether that's acupuncture, massage, different types of body work. I like to have like a massage or try to do a sauna once a month, excuse me, something like that. And then there are soul food things like travel or getting out into nature and things that just feed my soul, that are important to me. And travel is a big part of what does feed my soul. So I hope I try to get if I go too long of a stretch without a travel experience, I like to go to travel places that are what I call pranified. And that means
Oh,
that
pranified.
it means that there are places that are going to feed my soul. So the nature does that or the situation does. If it's visiting family, it's as long as it's something that is
Yeah.
soulful.
Oh, I love that. I've never heard that word before, pranified. Did you make that up or is that real?
No, I didn't make it up. I think I got it from a yoga teacher.
Okay. It's so funny you
Yeah.
said that because I just wrote a blog post today. Uh, I'm leading a retreat to Costa Rica in November, and part of this idea was, what are you really wanting to do and what's stopping you? Are you always saying, "Oh, I'll do it next year," or, maybe someday? Or it's like you got to stop doing that.
Yeah.
You got to stop procrastinating. You got to step into those desires and those things that feed you
Yeah. Yeah.
so that you can live a full life.
Yeah. And I love that and that just starting small too.
Yes, one
Just
step at a
giving
time.
one
One
step.
step at
Yeah.
a time. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the hardest one. That's always the hardest step. Because
Yeah.
once you start it, then you build that momentum and that excitement and you can feel that energy, right?
Yeah. 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 I love to ask myself the question, like, what do I need right now? What do I need in this moment? Because it has me check in with what I'm needing on a deeper level. And
Mm.
sometimes it's like, I need a nap
Yeah.
or I need to walk outside for 5 minutes. It's just these little moments of giving ourselves what we need is um I feel like it builds that foundation for taking it further into our desires, our dreams, our, you know,
Yeah.
bigger
I know
needs.
that I need to be outside
Mm-hmm.
and I need to, walk barefoot on the earth and I need to feel
Yeah.
that connection. And now that I moved to the desert, which is why I moved to the desert, was to feel that power, that connection with the earth. That's like my spirituality, is earth
Sure.
spirituality and that kind of connection. And, you know, when you allow yourself to be in that place, you can feel it
Yeah, absolutely.
and it feeds you,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
You have to feed your soul.
Yeah. Absolutely. We took a trip last Thanksgiving. My husband and daughter and I we just took the week and we went to Sedona
Oh,
for
yeah.
Thanksgiving. And we had the best Thanksgiving because it's a weird holiday for my husband's Costa Rican, by the way. So
Oh,
it's like a not a holiday we celebrate, honestly, because he doesn't understand it. He's like, that's not, the whole Christopher Columbus was not a
yeah, yeah.
celebration
I
here. We're
know.
down in Costa Rica. And so, and well, not here either, but point being is it's been this weird, like, what do we do with this holiday? So it was really nice to be able to go to Sedona and just honor the land and honor the people and being able to honor the indigenous people and to have this incredible, everything you see in Sedona imprints upon you. The scenery is so stunning that to be able to take that in, it felt like soul food that stayed with me all year.
Good. So
Yeah.
important, people. Are you hearing this?
Yeah.
So important to do these things for yourself and not to put it on the back burner. Not Don't put you on the back burner, but to get out and experience and have this curiosity and build this connection and
Yeah.
stand in your power, you know,
Yeah.
now more than ever. Now
Yeah.
more
And
than
I'll
ever.
say this to plug your retreat, because we live half the year in Costa Rica.
Oh, you do? I didn't know
It
that.
is, by the way, it is the most, talk about pranified, full of life. It is the place. When I run my retreats there, I always say this: nature holds you in Costa Rica. Half the healing work you do is the work you're doing in the space, and the other half of it is just being in that environment and letting the prana, the pura vida is what they call it, the pure life, just permeate and soak, and it melts the mind, it brings people into their bodies, it opens their hearts. So go to Paulette's retreat in November.
Yeah. Oh, oh, now I just can't wait. I'm just juiced up for that. Thank you for
Yeah.
that. I'm super excited. I did not know that you live there half year.
Yeah, well, we did, and now my daughter's in school.
All
She was in
right.
school down there, and then now she's in school, so now it's a lot less, but it used to
Yeah.
be when we were
Oh,
there.
sorry about that. My
Yeah.
phone's talking to me. Okay, so I know you're working on your book. Anything else? What's coming up for you?
Yeah, so we are opening our annual enrollment to our training program. So I run the School of Intuitive Studies. We train people in developing their intuition, clearing their blocks, and becoming certified as a healer if they want to. So that training, the first year of the training opens up right now, and it's open until October 1st. And then we don't open again until next year. So that's open for enrollment if anyone is interested.
So that's a
And
year-long program.
it's a year. The certification level's 2 years, but the first year is personal healing. So my theory is that, and it's not my theory, it's my experience, is that we spend the first year working on ourselves
Hmm.
and doing implementing the healing work for ourselves. And then in the second year, we learn to work with others.
Wow, gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And obviously that's virtual, right?
It's virtual. Yeah, we work on, yeah, it's all over, people from all over the world. So
Which isn't that amazing that we can do that?
yeah, it is
Isn't that just
amazing.
so gorgeous? I know I have people all over the world and it's just a blessing.
Yeah.
Just a blessing. Oh,
Yeah.
well, Wendy, wow. What a great conversation with you. I'm so excited about the work you're bringing to the world.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
really important work and beautiful work and, you know, with wishes for everyone to be able to have that connection with themselves and with spirit and that you're here helping them do that.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And so you guys, I will have all of Wendy's contact information, of course, on the blog post as always. And thank you, Wendy, for spending time with me today.
Thank you
And-
so much. It was
Yeah.
wonderful time.
And
Yeah, thank
I
you.
don't think I actually introduced myself, but I am Paulette Rees-Denis. And this is my Heart and Hustle video podcast that's been going on now for over 5 years, and such exciting work to have these conversations, to share with you, and to bring these people and their work to you, uh, for your information, for your curiosity, for your support. And that's really important to me, to be that hostess. To I love networking and I love bringing people together. I just
Mm.
love it. Love it. So, connect with Wendy if you're needing some work with her. Connect with me if you're needing me. As always, I'm here for you. And until we meet again, many blessings.